Welcome back, guys, to some more West Ham transfer news. If you're new around here, support West Ham or just like football content in general, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Let's get into the video. So the first topic of conversation for today's video is going to be that Chelsea have looked like they have dropped their interest in Declan Rice. Not because they just don't fancy the player anymore. They just don't think they can justify paying the 80 to 90 million that West Ham obviously want. And the article I'm looking at is Caught Offside. They said Chelsea are hoping to sign world-class centre-back for 50 million lower than release clause. And that is going to be Atletico Madrid's Jose Jimenez. According to Football Insider, Chelsea have switched their number one centre-back target to Jose Jimenez after failing in their efforts to reach an agreement with West Ham for Declan Rice. The Football Insider claimed that talks regarding the England international have now stalled, with Chelsea unable to get the Hammers to budge from their 80 million valuation for the 21-year-old. It's even suggested that the Blues offered one or more of Tomori, Kurt Zouma and Michy Batshuayi in a players plus cash that ultimately failed to win over David Moyes. I think this was well public knowledge, the fact that Chelsea were more than willing to offer players, but they didn't really want to stump up the full transfer fee, which is West Ham want. West Ham wanted, well, according to ex-WHO employee who is West Ham's number one ITK source, that West Ham would probably consider offers around about 80 to 90 million pounds. That's the minimum sort of transfer fee that would probably get West Ham owners thinking about even consider selling Declan Rice. And it does look like that Frank Lampard has sort of gone over to other transfer targets, because I suppose with signing Havertz already for 60 million, I know they had the Morata money and the Hazard money. Signing Ziyech for 35 million. They want to bring in a new centre-back. They want to bring in a new goalkeeper. They're wanting to bring in a new left-back. All this money that I suppose they can't justify then shelling out 80 to 90 million on Declan Rice. And for me, if they were going to convert him back to a centre-back, for me it's a complete waste, because what we've seen at West Ham now is, now that Soucek has come into the team, we've seen another side of Declan Rice's game that we haven't seen much, because I suppose after the last 2 years he's been that main focal point in the sort of defensive third in the central area of the pitch, where, you know, if he was to run up with the ball, run with the ball, he's got Mark Noble, he's got Manuel Lanzini, he's got Felipe Anderson, who's got to try and, you know, sort of do that running in the middle, and, you know, he's got to rely on them to defend for him, pretty much. And now that Soucek has now come into the team, Declan Rice, I think, realises that if he does decide to push up, he can now rely on Soucek to sort of, you know, be that focal point in defence that can win tackles and start play from the back. So we've seen sort of, you know, towards the end of lockdown, the period of matches, a side of Declan Rice's game that we haven't seen. He started to get more shots off, run with the ball more, play those killer passes into the final third. And this here, it's even suggested that Blues offered one more of their players. That was never the case. I could, you know, tell you now that I don't think a lot of West Ham's fan base even wanted half of these players. Michy Batshuayi, you know, however you pronounce his name, for me, he's not better than Antonio. He's not better than Haller. Does he improve West Ham's side? No. He doesn't want to play for West Ham because he's rejected us on multiple occasions. He's gone to Crystal Palace and other loans elsewhere. And for me, I'm not going to lie, I think them spending 60 million or 70 million on Jimenez, who's 25 years old, could be probably a better transfer than them signing Declan Rice. And that's not, you know, I know I support West Ham, but I'm not completely biased, you know. Jimenez has played in Champions League finals. He's played in one of the best teams, defensive teams, you know, in the world, in Atletico Madrid, whose philosophy is 2 banks of 4. Let's defend. Let's do a low block. And, you know, if you've got players who can defend like that, then it's going to be a fantastic signing for Chelsea. And for us, you know, it's going to be our best signing of the summer. If we're able to keep Declan Rice, which another article here says that they've sounded out, you know, Premier League defender over potential transfer, as Declan Rice is too expensive. If we're able to keep Declan Rice, right, that's our best signing this summer. I know we don't have much money, and we're going to be talking about that in the later point of the video, but it says here that Chelsea are also looking at Lewis Dunk, another potential alternative to Declan Rice. You know, Lewis Dunk's probably going to cost around about 30, you know, 25, 30 million. Someone who's 192 centimetres tall, very good in the air, something that Chelsea do lack in the defensive area of the pitch. You know, it looks like that Declan Rice is going to be staying at West Ham. Now, let's talk about Ollie Watkins. As we all know, Brentford failed to clinch promotion, losing 2-1 to Fulham. And that has actually activated a release clause for Premier League clubs that he can leave Brentford for £18 million. And I just want to talk a little bit about Ollie Watkins, sort of what he can bring to the team, and if West Ham have the funds, why we should go and pursue Ollie Watkins. At the moment, it does look like that Aston Villa, Leeds are the favourites to sign Ollie Watkins. It says Brentford forward Ollie Watkins can leave for offers of more than 18 million after a buyout clause in his contract was activated following Tuesday's Championship player final defeat by Fulham. However, Brentford are understood to value the player higher than that. So essentially what he's saying is, yes, of course, Brentford probably value Ollie Watkins at 25 million. And if they got promoted, then if anyone was going to sign Ollie Watkins, it would probably cost any club, West Ham, Leeds, Aston Villa, 25 to 30 million to get him off their hands. But now, of course, you know, they can't really do much because an 18 million buyout clause has been activated. Now, why do I believe West Ham should go and sign Ollie Watkins? Firstly, he could be a fantastic partner for either Antonio or Haller. More importantly, Haller, because despite the fact that Antonio has done fantastically well for West Ham in that striker position, I don't think we can sort of rely on him because despite his run of form, he isn't, you know, a natural goal scorer. And I feel like with Haller up top, with a 4-4-2, that's where he thrives. He thrives with support round him, and we've struggled to get support round Haller at times. But I want to talk about sort of what Watkins can bring to the table in regards to key passes. So let's have a look at Snodgrass here. Snodgrass at the moment is per game makes 1.4 key passes per game. He's our most creative player, but you've also got to take into account the sample amount of games, you know, he's sort of played. He's only played in 17 games, 7 sub appearances. Same with Lanzini. It looks good. 1.3 key passes per game. We have Mark Noble here at 1.3 passes per game, and Jared Bowen at 1.2. If you look at our strikers here, we have Sebastian Haller, 0.8. Doesn't really get into the play. And considering, you know, he's supposed to be our focal point striker, we play the ball into him, and in support comes off him, he plays the ball out. 0.8 probably key passes per game is probably not great. You've only got to look at Declan Rice. Declan Rice is our CDM, and he makes 0.2 less of a key pass per game than Sebastian Haller. And you've only got to look at Fornals as well. Fornals has played 36 games, 24 games, 12 substitute appearances, and he's only made 0.5 key passes per game. And these are players that are supposed to be our most attacking, you know, sort of players. However, Ollie Watkins, a creative striker, if we go over to the Championship and have a look at player statistics and have a look at offensive, you've only got to look at goals firstly. Ollie Watkins, 26 goals, 3 assists. However, he makes 1.5 key passes per game. And I think Alexander Mitrovic is another one we should have been looking at if Fulham didn't get promoted. However, I feel like Ollie Watkins is someone that we should definitely get. Firstly, he's got the pace. He likes to run in behind, same as Mikel Antonio, likes to stretch defences. And even though he did have a quieter game against Fulham, the little bits that he did show, he was willing to run the channels. He's very quick. He's very good at holding the ball up a couple of times when the ball got played long to him, and he was very isolated against Hector, whatever his name is, the Fulham centre-back. He was very good at holding the ball up and winning a free kick for his team. Very good, very pacey, and he looks more of a natural goal scorer than Antonio. So if we can maybe bring him in, however, this is all ifs and buts. We know the policy at West Ham, the scenario that we're in. We've got to sell players like like Anderson, like Lanzini, but we're going to miss out on some very good quality Championship players. And if we've also only got to look at, you know, some of the key passes per game for Eze. So if we look at the key passes per game for players here, these are majority of attacking midfielders. Attacking midfielders, wide players, more than likely are going to play more key passes than for a striker. However, in the top 20, 30, Ollie Watkins is the only striker that's actually in this list for key passes per game. I do understand, you know, people may question, well, this is the Championship, Ben. You know, we're talking about Premier League football now. Can he step up? And that's the question. Can Ollie Watkins step up? But when for 18 million, I feel like it's a gamble if we've got the money or just find the money, because I don't understand how other clubs, you know, can, like Aston Villa have 100 million, Leeds have 100 million or 45 million, 50 million, and we haven't got a pot pretty much to spend anything. If we just look at players like Eze, you know, 1.8 key passes per game, 14 goal assists, 14 goals, 8 goal assists, 22 goal contributions throughout the season. It does look like if you're comparing these stats to some of the stats we've got in our team, then it does look like we are lacking in that creative department front, and we do need to address that. And I think we've got to respect David Moyes in the sense that, you know, Anderson, for example, a lot of teams are, a lot of the West Ham fan base are split. Should we sell him? Should we not? However, we've got to understand that that is Pellegrini's squad. A lot of the squad that we have got right now and that David Moyes has inherited is Pellegrini's squad. So if David Moyes feels like, you know what, unfortunately, Anderson, I've given you enough chances, you know, I need to sacrifice you in order to bring in some of my own players. We've got to respect the fact we've got to allow David Moyes to build his own squad, whether that's sell, you know, Anderson and Lanzini so we can bring Eze and Watkins. Let him do it. So, guys, that is going to be the end of the West Ham transfer news video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure you leave a like on the video. Subscribe if you're new and you want more West Ham content. I'll see you later.